Sierra Leone celebrates World Statistics Day with the theme Connecting the World with Data We Can Trust. The National Coordinator for Women in Mining and Extractive speaks on their constraints. Human Rights Commission Sierra Leone commemorates Africa Human Rights Day. Now let's join Marian Amaria Bangura for the news in details.
Hello and welcome to Newswatch Online Television. I am Marian Amaria Bangura. Please do not forget to subscribe to our News and Current Affairs channel. October 20 every year is being celebrated as World Statistics Day. Statistics Sierra Leone has held a press conference in celebration of the day at the office at AJ Momo Street, Tower Hill in Freetown, with the theme Connecting the World with Data We Can Trust. Salema Tuwai Kamara has the details.
Statistics Sierra Leone is a semi-autonomous institution established by the Statistics Act of 2002 that is supervised by the Statistics Council for the collection, complication analysis, and dissemination of accurate, clear, relevant, timely, and high-quality official and other statistics. Speaking on the celebration of World Statistics Day, the chairman of Statistics Sierra Leone Council gave a brief background of Statistics Sierra Leone and elaborates on the theme, which is Connecting the World with Data.
I just want to say a little bit on the council. The council, well, is a component of this institution. We are not really employed as such. We are just appointed to come and assist chief executive here and his director and his deputy and all the directors to pave the way. How does the institution go? So we are here to advise them. As the director earlier said, I worked in this office all my life. I'm sure 27 years is long enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the life of a whole individual. That's how long I stayed here. So, I don't know everything about this place, but I think I know as much as I could advise. You know.
Andrew Bob Johnny is the Deputy Statistician General. He has this to say.
Connecting the world with data we can trust. The World Statistics Day coincides with three global events, namely the 75th anniversary of the United Nations, the midpoint in the 2020 World Population and Housing Round of Censuses, and the virtual UN World Data Forum 2020. The celebration is a global collaborative endeavor organized under the guidance of the United Nations Statistical Commission, for which I wish to inform this August gathering as our Statistician General, Madam O, they used to call him, and CEO is the current rapporteur. That's a big position in the UN. National statistics offices like ours in Sierra Leone, we celebrate it with a theme that emphasizes the importance of 1, trust, 2, authoritative data, 3, innovation and public good in national statistical systems. Our agenda at StatSL will focus on the theme.
Hello? Yeah. Our agenda at StatSL will focus on the theme highlighting the role of statisticians, data scientists, politicians, experts from the business sector, and civil society in the production of official.
Delivering his statements, Professor Usman Sanko, Statistician General and Chief Census Officer, speaks about the previous census and their expectation on the upcoming census.
You do an evaluation and you can definitely identify issues that you couldn't have identified whilst you were implementing. So it is this same institution that conducted the 2015 census. StatSL conducted the 2015 census. So after the census and after a few years down the line, we have been trying to make use of the data, and we identified, in this same institution that identified challenges that we felt was extremely important to be addressed and not wait until 10 years down the line. That should be very clear. There are significant challenges in the data that was presented that we cannot wait until the next 10 years before you could go back and get it right. It is possible for us to do it now and to use technology to do it. That must be very clear. I repeat, it was StatSL that conducted the 2015 census. We are not pushing everything aside. We cannot analyze all the data based on the localities, the villages, and all of this. So why do we wait if we have the opportunity? Why must we wait 10 years down the line before we can give you the data that you want? And this is why, now that we have technology, now that we have the right mindset as well, we have the competent institution as well, we can do it. And we have chosen the time midway between the two primary census.
For Newswatch Online TV, Salematu Y Kamara reporting.
Human Rights Commission Sierra Leone commemorates African Human Rights Day on the 21st October 2020. The Human Rights Commission Sierra Leone is a commission with the vision to ensure that the culture of human rights prevails and the people respect the rules of law and live in peace and dignity. On Thursday, 21st October 2020, the Commission commemorates the African Human Rights Day with the theme Silencing the Guns and Deepening the Culture of Human Rights and People's Rights, the Opportunity and Challenges of COVID-19 in Africa. The chairperson of the Human Rights Commission, Mrs. Patricia Nasudanema, speaks on the essence of commemorating the day.
For us, this day is very important. I'm sure you're aware that every 10th December is International Human Rights Day. And that actually focuses on all countries all over the world. But the African Human Rights Day specifically, focuses on African Union member states, all 54 of them. So it's like us as Africans, knowing that we also have our own cultural values, knowing the importance of also respecting, protecting human rights. And then also for this year's theme, as you asked the question, it was looked at from the point of view that we've had a lot of violence in Africa. We've had a lot of use of the guns in Africa. So the AU decided to make this particular African Human Rights Day celebration with a special theme that has to do with silencing of the guns. And then quite recently at the Policy Forum, where the Human Rights Commission participated as the rapporteur for the session, most of the issues highlighted on the role of national human rights institution is for us to take a leading role in terms of raising awareness on silencing the guns, and also engaging appropriate authorities like government, civil society organizations, other international community, people also, vulnerable groups, people like in ghettos, and also schools, because the African Union has its other agenda of human rights education. So it's like raising awareness on the negative consequences, of raising the guns in different countries. Looking at the point of view that when the guns are raised in Africa, it leads, of course, to war. We know it leads to the denial or enjoyment of rights. It even leads to the erosion of developmental activities. So as a commission, we have a big role to make sure that we make known this particular day to all. We have, over the past years, been celebrating International Human Rights Day. But the African Human Rights Day is for Africans. It is us. So we want it to become part of the people all over Africa, and specifically to people in Sierra Leone. In fact, the Commission has been very active in that. And I'm sure that if you've been following the work of the Commission, you could see that we've also been putting out press releases, and we've not stopped there. If you go back to the Human Rights Commission's mandate, we have one of our roles is to raise awareness. We also have as one of our roles to engage community people. We also have as one of our roles to engage, government officials or other partners that are intervening in the field of human rights. So when we do put out this press release, we make out recommendations. And we just don't leave the recommendations lying on paper. We do engagements. For example, the McKinney incident, even when we heard about it, based on our social media monitoring, the first thing we did was to present our last report again to the military and also go to the military to engage them. That's why there was no military presence for this particular incident that took place in McKinney. No. To a very large extent, they're also cooperating. We've also had engagements like with the Sierra Leone police on the issues of around right to life concerns. We've also been doing that. And then what we have been doing is just what we've just done just now. Because we know that the media is really, really very important and you play a great role in propagating or disseminating messages. So the first part of call for today was to call, the Fourth Estate, because we know after this session today, we're going to see this one, captured in virtually all the papers. We are going to be on the radio. We are also going to be on TV and other social media platforms. So this is just one step. And we are not only stopping here today. We have like a week-long program. We are actually also going to target ghettos and also other communities, and then car wash, and then schools. But this is where we are starting off today. So maybe later in the day, we'll be going out in the street to raise awareness.
Mariana Maria Bangura, Newswatch Online Television. The National Coordinator for Women in Mining and Extractive, Esther Kande, speaks on the constraints of women in mining, saying they get involved in it without much knowledge and are getting less pay.
Very long time, women don't talk about mining or the extractive sector in general. We know women for agriculture, but for extractive, no. But yes, still we have women who are involved in the extractive sector, especially in the artisanal mining sector. We have a lot of women. Even now, as I speak, we have a lot of women, especially in the gold sector. If you go there, a lot of them. But the issues on natural resource, they have little knowledge about, or no knowledge in terms of policies, laws, whether local, international, regional. They have no time for that. All they want to know, they go to the mines, do whatever they can do, and go back home. And fortunately or unfortunately, I was born in one of the districts which is known for mining, which is Konodi Street. And I grew up in Konodi Street. And after the war, we came back and we saw the need to actually start an organization like this that will look at the welfare of women. Women are going through a lot in the extractive sector. Women are suffering a lot. You talk about gender-based violence, you talk about rape, you talk about, non-profit. They have no idea of whatever resources going back to the community. The chiefs are all men. So when the money goes, it's at the table of the chiefs. And then it's about to do. So the women find themselves in between. They suffer the consequences of the money, or whatever is coming in, they have no idea, they are not benefiting. So they find themselves in such a horrible condition, and nobody's there to talk to them. So we form this organization with a mindset that we want to encourage women to, one, have interest in the extractive sector. Let's begin to talk about it. Let's begin to examine the extractive sector, because the women, we are suffering, but nobody is talking to us. And even ourselves, we have no time. We think it is a men's work, but at the end of the day, we suffer. So what do we do? So we form this organization with that mindset. That one, we want to break that gap between the extractive and the women. So we started off with organizing women. As we speak, I have over on the organization, we have over 50.
Let's go for a short commercial break. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a place where you will have fresh poultry eggs? Well, your worries are over. Reef Poultry Eggs is here to satisfy you. Visit us at 28 Charlotte Street, Freetown, or call 079-368959. We do wholesale, retail and home delivery service. Reef Poultry Eggs, your place to be.
Welcome Welcome back. You're still watching Newswatch Online TV News Hour. I am Mariana Maria Bankura. The Defense Council, representing former Minister of Defense and Internal Affairs, Alfred Paulo Conte, has filed a motion to the Court of Appeal to ask for an extension of time to file and serve the appellant's synopsis of arguments.
Defense Counsel for former Minister of Defense and Internal Affairs has filed a motion to the Court of Appeal asking for an extension of time to file and serve the appellant's synopsis of argument in respect of his appeal before the court. The appellant, Alfred Paulo Conte, is serving a 24-month sentence for illegal possession of firearms. Addressing judges of the Court of Appeal, Waraseri Kamal, on behalf of our client, said that the necessary work on the synopsis had been completed but could not be filed because the lead counsel for the defense appellant, Abdullahi O. Conte, is out of the country on medical leave. Lawyer Kamal further told the court that no injustice would arise from granting the said application, adding that if there is anybody to be hurt by the request, it will be their clients. The application, she said, was made present to the court's inherent jurisdiction to regulate its own rules and determine its own processes. State Counsel Ismon Gakui did not object to the application. The presiding judge, Justice Ansumana Ivan Sise, granted the application for an extension of time within which they should file and serve the synopsis of their arguments forthwith. The matter was adjourned to November 3, 2020. Newswatch TV, Beatrice O'Connor.
The National Revenue Authority is the agency charged with the responsibility to generate revenue for the country. To effectively collect revenue, the authority will launch its electronic cash register. Let's take a look.
National Revenue Authority is the central body responsible for the assessment and collection of revenue to provide for the administration and enforcement of specified laws, to make consequential amendments to certain laws relating to revenue. The authority came into existence in 2002 through an Act of Parliament. For the effective and efficient collection of revenue, the National Revenue Authority will introduce the electronic cash register, which will provide real-time data to the authority. Dr. Ibrahim S. Kamara is the Commissioner, Domestic Tax Department.
The electronic cash register is a fiscal device, an electronic fiscal device that will be used to capture data, sales data, and other information for GST purposes. So meaning that it's a device that will be installed in the premises of all registered GST traders so that they can be relieved from issuing manual receipts. But it is very difficult to monitor. Many times people don't issue the NRA receipt because they don't want to declare all their sales to the NRA for the payment of GST. So the electronic fiscal device or the cash registers will now be installed in all of those premises so that it will now replace the manual issuance of receipts, whereby all transactions will be keyed into the system and automatically they will be relayed basically to the server at the NRA, so that at the end of the month we're able to know exactly what has transpired. For those people that are not using, they are not like dealing in goods, maybe services, this device can also have a kind of chip that will be installed in whatever systems they have, so it relays information to us on the real time about what is happening in their businesses. Yeah, in the first place, the machines are going to be have rechargeable batteries, such that when they are fully charged, they will last for about 3 days, 72 hours. So meaning the business people will not have excuse to say there is no light, that's why they're not using the machines. So it's 72-hour charged, and then that will obviously help whenever there are power outages and so on. So those information will obviously be collected. And we are also working, of course, at the national level, government is doing all it could to improve on the supply of the system. And even now that they are using their own machines, most of them have alternative power supply systems, which they are using to make sure their businesses go on. So apart from those alternative power supply mechanisms they have, the machines are going to have rechargeable batteries, to last that long, so that there will be no breakages. And in terms of internet supply or connectivity, we are also working with our key partners like the Salka people to see how we can get direct connection to the fiber to increase the bandwidth. Or we also intend to work with some service providers like the cell companies and so on to see how we can always have alternatives. Currently, we are faced with the problem of under-declaration by our taxpayers, meaning that most businesses do not even disclose their complete sales, because GST is based on the turnover, the sales that a business made. 15% of the sales should be GST payable if the taxpayer is dealing in a chargeable supply. So what they normally do is that they just handpick certain transactions which they will put on their GST returns monthly. They will fail to disclose the entire transaction in order to reduce their tax. Okay, the government of Sierra Leone is fully funding this project. It costs the government about 42 billion leones. That's about $4.2 million. As I'm speaking now, we have made the first payment, the first installment, and the second installment will be paid in the next few days again. So government of Sierra Leone through the Minister of Finance is very committed to this. This is one of the projects which we own as Sierra Leoneans. Most of the reforms that are going on at the NRA, like the integrated tax administration systems, that's Kuda World and some of them, they are mostly financed by our development partners. Our development partners, like the World Bank and other EDB and the rest. But this project is fully sponsored by the government of Sierra Leone. And the only support we are getting from ADB as part of this project is the aspect of the educational side. So there's about we are piloting it in the hospitality sector, meaning all hotels, guest houses, restaurants, pubs, bars, are going to be the first target group. Airlines also be there, airline agencies, people that are there in this recreational, socializing thing, hospitality generally. And we have very close to 500 cases that will do a 3-month piloting with. So when the piloting is completed, or when even it is ongoing, we will now target the rest of mankind, because the GST register contains about 2,500 taxpayers. So if we are talking about first 500 in the pilot phase, we still have about 2,000 this system will be rolled out to. So we even have organizations like the telecoms companies, the banks, the insurance companies, all of those other businesses that are GST chargeable. Mind you, GST taxpayers are those people that are making turnover or sales that is above 350 million per month. Below 350 million is an SME, a small or micro enterprise, and those ones may not be covered now on this project.
It's the introduction of the electronic cash register to eliminate human manipulation, reduce corruption, and to provide real-time data for effective revenue generation. What are the views of the ordinary Sierra Leonean?
The things we need, especially in Salome, because once you tackle corruption, one of it here, anything in digital form, so that when this can directly go directly, there's no agent between you and the businessman. Is good. There's no way for them to manipulate things. For say this are supposed to run after. No, if you go direct as soon as you put the data, you don't go direct at the system. It's good for that. If you come with that system there, it's good. Because Africa today is like Sierra Leone, so we get on digital issue. Because everything we digitalize, everything for them system.
What's not for make we country go before let things find out we country, because things not easy. Government in one going to scatter and hand together for work na the country. But now they bring income for make the country go before. Make for me, I'm happy for that.
I think it's a good system, considering the fact that people like to cheat. But also don't go buy and then shop them, or also open at the hotel and also in the court or government. So this electronics, I feel like it will be a good system where they will monitor and people that will be a little bit, I think, honest in their needs.
That was the view of some Sierra Leoneans who expressed great enthusiasm in anticipation that the system will greatly help in the generation of revenue, reduce human error, and minimize corruption. Newswatch TV Online, Abubakar Kamara.
Well, that's all we have in today's episode of Newswatch Online TV News Hour. Please do not forget to subscribe to our News and Current Affairs channel and follow us on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts Newswatch Online TV SL. Till next episode, I've been your presenter, Mariana Maria Bangura.